Parts are running out. It's like toilet paper in 2020. Quick, go buy what you can now. I'm joking, of course. But that being said, have you tried lately to get an obscure part for a mid-2000s car? It's getting substantially harder than it was just a couple of years ago. And there's a few reasons for this, and we should all be aware of them because it affects all of us who don't want to drive a brand new car. The other thing I'll add here is, I've got an idea. Some of you might know I've got a background in automotive design and manufacturing, so I think I might be able to bring something to the table here, but you be the judge. Stick with me on this one, that's what I'm asking. Things are changing in the UK aftermarket parts supply world. I've heard a few American mechanics talk about this. Exact same thing happening here. Essentially, what we're seeing is a disproportionately high number of aftermarket part suppliers, especially those catering to older car markets, just disappearing. You can do your own digging on this, but companies like Shaftech, who remanufactured some of the stuff that can be really quite hard to get your hands on now. Old style pumps, I've got one sat in that box there. Steering racks, that sort of thing, gone. Speedograph, a gem of a company who worked on analog gauges, speedometers, yeah, that kind of thing, producing them, calibrating them and so on. Again, gone. Rebestos, who I've used for specific brake pads in the past. You know, a little bit pricier, these guys, given that they're over in the US, you need to pay the import and stuff, but really good for unusual fitments, you know, that kind of stuff. Gone as well. Speedies, you know, Speedy spares, you might have used these guys in the past. They held thousands of parts in stock for older cars. A business that's been operating since the 60s, just gone. And these are just the ones that come to mind, the ones that I know personally. As I say, if you do a bit of digging into this, you'll find tons more, but you get my point. It's supply and demand. Whilst the supply is dwindling, with fewer companies out there producing and distributing these parts, the demand's going the other way because we, the public, we're hanging on to our cars longer than we ever have before. That inevitably means we need more parts. So, struggling to get aftermarket parts. Oh, what about donor parts? You know, that have come from written off cars that have been stripped for bumpers and doors and, you know, plastic trims, that kind of thing. Not so fast in this world either, because big changes are happening here because of insurance companies. Traditionally, what used to happen is used parts were used as an informal workaround for insurance companies. So, you know, if a repairer couldn't get an obscure part or a brand new OEM bumper, headlamp, door, whatever it was maybe going to push the car into write-off territory, someone from that company would ring round the breakers, see what was available. It did used to happen, but it was case by case. Now though, these donor parts, they're becoming a standard part of the repair process. It's become formalised, so Esure, AXA, LV, Zurich and like 10 others, they all now routinely use these donor parts in their repair process where possible to save money. If you go off and check your policy wording, you'll probably find something relates to this in there, if it's from the last few years onwards. What this means is those donor parts that would have previously drifted through breakers' yards, scrappies, eBay, they're now being bought up by insurers. We've got this huge preferential channel for recycled parts that never used to exist. And the problem with that for us, you know, me and you, is we're now competing with professional repair supply chains when we shop for spare parts. I mean, yes, the public-facing market still exists for now, but alongside it, this slick business-to-business channel with their own private access portals, supply agreements, stock matching software is growing and growing. It's never going to be a fair fight between us, is it? So, I said I had an idea, and I do. Now this might sound a little zany, but it's something, as I say, I've got a bit of experience with, so bear with me here as I describe it. In the past, when I've been struggling for a part, and this could be anything from simple coolant pipe to a blower outlet, I've used 3D printing. So to 3D print something, you need a CAD model. Now this was my domain in the design world, so it's second nature to me to knock up a part quickly. If you've got the original part there, you could just scan it, hit duplicate, and the printer will basically spit them out like a photocopier would. Often though, there's no original part. You know, it's broken, it's gone, doesn't exist anymore. So you're building it from scratch. Yeah, okay, I mean, that takes a little bit longer, but by the end of the day, you'll still have the part, you know, in your hand. And the beauty of it is that standard print costs you maybe £1, £2 in material. So it's incredibly inexpensive. Obviously, you know, depending on the size and the material choice and a few other factors. Now, of course, easy for someone like me to say with access to printers and CAD experience, but maybe not so much for you. So here's what I'm proposing. A centralized repository, a website where you can get quality, engineer-made, correctly toleranced digital models of hard to find or expensive parts. You can download them and print them yourself if you've got the facilities to do so, or pay a bit extra and have the part made and sent out to you in metal, plastic, you know, whatever you need, all conforming to ISO quality standards. To begin with, you know, no safety critical parts, but maybe that coolant line connector or that bit of trim that you just can't find anywhere, you know, whatever it happens to be that you need. And I don't just throw this out there lightly. I've already brought this to the stage where I've had to navigate the various intellectual property issues, the liability problems, the quality control side of it. But I honestly think this is worth pursuing as time goes on and parts become even harder to find and even more expensive. Now this is where you come in, because it's reached the point now where some real world feedback is needed. So let me have it. Would you use this for a part that you've been hunting for months? Shall we ban the insurance companies from accessing it? Just kidding. Whatever your feedback, let me know in the comments section below. And also, if you are interested in seeing this develop, I've added a link to a mailing list in the description below. If you sign up to that, I'll keep you posted as things move forward. But please, you know, do let me know your thoughts. And if this whole world of used older cars is new to you, as many of you have told me lately, you know, you've ditched the car payment, you've went for that cheaper car, simplified your life, please do remember, if you're looking to buy another or looking to buy your first used car, one of our channel sponsors is Vehicle Score. They provide 20% off all HPI checks to our channel viewers, so please do make use of that when buying to make sure that your car doesn't have a dodgy past. Now, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please do keep hitting the subscribe button, keep liking, and I'll see you in a few days' time. Take care.